The CRAAP test is a way for you to help decide if an article is credible and if you should use it in your research and then later on your product. So the C stands for currency, and that is how up to date the information is. So, for example, if I'm doing something on a modern computer, I don't want an article from 1970. That's not going to give me up to date information. R is for relevance, and that's how it fits into your needs. If I am doing something that is persuasive, I'm going to want articles that have things for both sides of the argument. I'm also going to want to make sure that it's relevant to my topic. I may find a really cool article about iPhones, but if I'm doing a report on dogs, that's not very helpful. A is for authority, and that's the source of the information. Who wrote it? If I'm doing something about a medical profession, I'm going to want an article that's written by a doctor, and I'm also going to want, or another medical professional, maybe not just a doctor, but a nurse or a nurse practitioner. I'm going to want to make sure that that information is from somebody who studies that field. So that's something that you really need to be careful about. Who is writing it? The accuracy of the information. If it's not something that you know, you might need to go back and check with an additional source and see, okay, do I have more than one source that's giving me that same information? Then it's probably reliable. Finally, you have purpose. Why does this exist? Is this an opinion piece? Somebody's trying to persuade me? Is it for an advertisement? Is somebody trying to sell me something? Is this just factual information that somebody's trying to get out? You have to think of all of those things when you're deciding if you want to use that piece of information. All right, let's use the CRAAP test on an actual article. So this is from the website understood.org. My topic is anxiety in middle schoolers, and the title of this article is My Sixth Grader is Anxious About School. What can I do? So the first thing I'm going to look for is the C, which is currency, and I'm going to see if I can find a date on the article. So I'm just skimming. So it has the author down there, but it doesn't give me a date. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't use it, but that is something that I want to think about as I'm deciding. The next thing is relevancy. So this is an article about sixth graders and anxiety. Somebody asked this doctor a question, and then they gave some general advice. So they had examples of things that parents can say to the sixth grader. It has coping strategies that the person can use. And so I would say this is relevant to my topic. All right. So then next, I'm going to take a look at the authority. And so the author is a doctor, it says PhD, and it says that he is a professor of psychiatry and director of the UCLA Child Anxiety Resilience Education and Support Center. So absolutely he knows what he's talking about. All right, and then the accuracy of the information. Now, because he is a doctor and he is giving information most likely based upon his research, I'm going to say that it passes that part of the test. And then finally, the purpose. So the purpose of this is for somebody to ask some information about being anxious in middle school and for a professional to give the answer. So that is absolutely something I could use, kind of like it's an interview. Now, one other thing that is good to check, if you go to the three little lines on the upper right-hand side, I also, when I'm looking for the author, I like to click About, because sometimes you'll have an article and you just want to also make sure that whatever the publication is, not just the author, is something that you want to use. And it just says Understood as a nonprofit dedicated to serving families who learn and think differently. So it's a .org. The article is written by a professional. So this is something that I could use in my research.